Today's matchup. Hero. Keen. Cure. Solar.
And we are back here at the GSL. This is Group B. We just saw Hero crush through Keen in a pretty convincing series. Keen not looking bad, though. I think he showed some promise.
Yeah, got caught a little bit unprepared there in game number 2 for the DT drop and suffered a quick defeat there as a result. But in game number 1, he looked quite solid. And now, Tasteless, TVZ is on the menu again. And
Let's
you guys watching at home, you better savor this one because we only have 2 Zergs right now in the GSL Code S.
Yeah.
They're still standing.
I'm kind of relishing this GSL after how many Zergs have just been killing it over the years. But you know what? Something tells me we're somehow going to have like Dark in the finals, and it's like he wins. We're like, huh.
It could be Solar and Dark. I mean, they did it in the
It's
Super
like
Tournament.
GSL ends as it starts. It's like, remember Fruit Dealer was like the only guy, the only Zerg in like the top 8, and then it's going to be Dark doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's a point.
And then
in.
he takes his mask off. He was Fruit Dealer the whole time.
Dealer
We go,
all
oh!
Yeah. I forgot about that. What a story that was, Fruit Dealer fighting through the first GSL.
So this match, out of all the games that we're going to start, the first 2 best of 3s we're going to have for Group A through D, this is the one I really was the least sure about who's going to take this.
Yeah, Curious kind of, I mean, he's one of the best Terran players in the world, without a doubt. But
for sure.
At least for me, when I'm watching Cure play, the thing that I'm most impressed from him is generally his TVP. His TVZ,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure about that. I feel like I don't have as many data points on where exactly he stands in TVZ.
He's good. He's definitely just overshadowed by Maru and some other Terrans. I think he's got a shot. I think Solar is in very good shape. You could see Cure had a disappointing showing at IEM, at least compared to Solar. Solar, he won Super Tournament top 8 at IEM is very good.
Yeah, 2 top 16s in GSL Code S as well last season. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a threat. I really like his room setup, by the way.
Oh, that's a fantastic room. This is the new best room.
This is the best. If there's brackets for the rooms, he's going on.
I want to have a house party at Solar's house, man. That's nice.
It looks like a good place to hang out.
Yeah.
I didn't actually look at Cure's room, so we got to look at that when we go.
It is strange.
I we just judge their home setup. It has nothing to do with this, but well, I wonder if there's going to be any player that just has the big green screen up behind him. I'm not a fan of that when I see that.
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons of it, right? Like if you have the green screen set up, it does look kind of sleek and professional.
Yeah.
But also it's less for us to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. I said I don't like it. Then I remember my brother does that show with mostly walking where his green screen's up behind him. Just called him out by accident for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this one's going to be tough to call. I think this should be probably one of our best matches here for the round of 16. I think
certainly.
I think that either player can take it. I personally can't predict one. And now I know I don't remember Cure's room because
it's just a door.
Yeah, he's in the storage closet right now in a hotel.
Yeah.
Before they put anything in there.
It's empty.
It's empty, man.
Well, this should be a fantastic match here, Cure versus Solar here. So we get ready to go into set number 1 on Gresbin, second match of Group B.
Club NV. Cure. Onside Gaming. Solar.
Solar kind of has like spikes on his back.
I
With a
missed
picture
that.
like that.
I'm
his
zoned
picture
in.
with the Zerg logo back. Look at the trophies back there. He's got
It's a
checks.
nice room. Stuffed animals and everything.
I know.
too.
He's got everything you need.
Well, here we go again, Tasteless.
It's a triple racks.
I feel like we're seeing a little bit more of this here this season than we did previously. Am I going
think
crazy?
you're right.
It's been a lot of
I think
proxies.
these builds are more useful to rotate into Star League style tournaments like this one.
Right.
I feel like at IEM, there's so many games going on, nobody's really able to sit down and thumb through the information of, who's doing what.
Oh, man, this Overlord. I think it's barely going to miss this.
This is a trend I've actually really enjoyed seeing, and it's like such a tweak on the already cheesy build, is you make 2 next to each other, and the third a little bit far away because you respond to 2 differently than you respond to 3.
Right.
So even if you spot it, if you pull away because you don't want to drop the Overlord, you still might not get the read. But the fact that he doesn't see this at all, I almost think we can call this as probably a Cure win, unless we see Solar already, blindly trying to counter this.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to know what's coming his way until it hits him, more or less, and that's usually not how you want things to go or shake out here against 2 racks, let alone 3 racks proxy as it is here for Cure. Now, Solar, he is going for Zergling's speed, does have that gas geyser in production, but...
I mean, this is no, I mean, he doesn't even have Zergling's speed coming. He's spawning pools, like, still building. So, I mean, he's going to pull the drones.
Yeah.
This will prompt the SCVs to retreat, but only for a little bit. And again, it's a 3 SCV rush here, so there's a lot of time to basically make structures. The creep does block him, actually.
Yeah, creep spread a little bit faster here in this patch than in previous patches when that hatchery does get planted. And you can see Solar desperately trying to get a surround. He actually was able to surround some of those SCVs, but you really want to go for the DPS here. Is now getting joined with the Zerglings, but the first 2 falling there. And Solar, he's trying his best to buy time for this spine crawler to get up, but
it's going to go down.
Doesn't feel like he's going to be able to.
And, honestly, all 3 SCVs are still alive. Not that he's going to be making a bunker, but it's just like that much more damage that you can soak up. He stutter steps forward here. The Lings are coming back out. They're going to have to retreat. The Queen is at half health.
Queen precariously low in hit points right now as Cure just stutter steps micro his way towards the victory here. As Solar, he desperately needs to get us around. Able to get some kills there on Marines, but this is just snowballing massively in Cure's favor.
Yeah, the Queen, again, it stayed alive, but now you can target down the drones. The drones get pulled here. The Lings come up. It seems like the control here from Cure might just be a little bit too good.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Cure's taking a very clean game number 1 there, as Solar just unlucky with the scouting pattern, not sending a drone scout, maybe a little bit greedy, and Cure just right out of the field of vision, knew exactly where to place those 3 barracks, and it's an easy 1-0. It's
an easy 1-0. He did win that, but it looks like he's missing the remote for his air conditioner that's on the wall mount there. But other than that, he killed it. Look, I mean, you didn't scout the rush. He sent the Overlord up towards the top. That is the more common place for people to put the 3 Araxes. But you can also put it down at the bottom, which is exactly what he did.
And I wonder how much of that is Cure preparing specifically here for Solar, because a lot of these players since IEM Katowice, they've been playing and grinding a ton of online, qualifiers or online leagues, getting ready to, stay in form here for GSL Code S and earn a little bit more money. So that could be Cure just identifying that, Solar on this map is a little bit greedy.
Yeah.
With his Overlord scouting pattern. And then also, as you pointed out, the way that he built those first 2 barracks close together and then one slightly further away, he's like, okay, well, if he does spot it, he might just think it's a 2 racks and not the 3 racks because he's not going to overextend with the Overlord.
He has to do a very deep scout and come in there and figure out what's going on. I mean, it was a good opening here for Cure. It's going to be a much easier best of 3 coming forward. I don't think he'll cheese again necessarily, but, what will he do? All he has to do is make something work one more time, and he's off to the winner's match against Hero.
I'm kind of curious if we're going to see him do something similar to what Björn did in his TVZs.
Yeah, the double racks.
Because Björn was saying in his interview that he kind of thinks this might be something we see a little bit more common here in this new year, this kind of 2 barracks on the low ground, 3 Reaper opening, because oftentimes we see the first Reaper come out and you maybe kill a Ling and maybe you make it kind of hard for Zerg to plant a creep timber, but eventually it does get down, and that's about it in terms of utility, right? But this 3 Reaper opening, it has potential. We've seen a lot of drones fall, we've seen Lings fall, we've seen creep timbers get sniped.
It's funny. I think the cheese build does pair well with a meta game where you have people doing the 2 forward Raxes.
Yeah, that could be it too.
I think that it's pretty. There's a lot to it that's really smart, because I think you need a different type of reaction to the Reapers coming forward, which makes you want to be really greedy with the drones and try to get ready for everything else to be there for that. And then this much cheesier and frankly stronger rush comes in and blindsides you.
And it's cool to see, Terran's kind of shake up the matchup a little bit here with these openings. Because oftentimes, when Zergs are dominating, it's in periods where we don't have patches, right? And this isn't necessarily the result of a patch, that people are going for Reaper openings like this, or going for 3 racks, which has been around for Legacy of the Void for ages, right? But, you can kind of get the same effect as Terrans as a whole, as a community, by just kind of shaking up the meta and having more potential to throw things Zerg's way. So maybe that's one of the reasons why we only have 3 Zergs here in GSL Code S. Maybe it's one of the reasons why we had our first Zerg eliminated in Group A. And now here in Group B, Solar already down 1-0 to Cure.
Royal Blood will be map 2. This is Solar's pick. We're loading that map up right now. Cure wins with a 3 racks rush. What will happen in Game 2? Remember that the winner goes on to face off against Hero in the winner's match here for Group B in the GSL Code S.
Club NV, Cure. Onside Gaming, Solar.
Such a good room.
It's a really good room.
Very well
Even
organized.
has the big prize check.
Yeah.
All the way up there in the top.
I like it. It's either you put that there or above the fireplace, you know?
Just flexing on all the gamers watching GSL right
Yeah,
now. Look at my
yeah.
trophies.
Look at my, my shrine of greatness.
I feel like we almost take for granted how storied StarCraft 2 is with a decade-long history, all of these
Oh, it's
tournaments,
crazy.
all these champions, and it's kind of surreal to see something like that in Solar's room. You know, just how many championships and like runner-ups and all these other trophies that you actually accumulate
it's
on your shelves,
it's
being one of
crazy.
the best Zerg players in the world for ages.
RTS and I guess maybe like, the original Counter-Strike up to now. I mean, there's been so much story with him.
He's got more gold than all this you see right here.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
nothing.
That's nothing compared
That's
to what
nothing.
Solar
Yeah,
has in his
compared to his
apartment.
bookshelf behind him at the computer. Yeah, it is true though. Like, we've had these players be around for so long. They've been so strong. They've inspired us for so many years. And that's why they're so hungry. They're like, well, how much GSL's left? I got to get in as many more wins as I can and leave on a high note.
Everyone's motivated to give their best shot here in 2023.
And
As we see a little bit more of a standard opening here coming out of Cure. No low ground. Low ground 2 racks opening as we saw Beyond favor yesterday.
Right.
Instead just going for the high ground 1 barracks with a Reaper, low ground CC.
This is a little bit of an older build. Older is never bad, by the way. It's just something we've seen before.
Right.
And he may have his own spin on it as we get further on into this.
And I'm kind of liking this play right here from Solar too, cutting out these 4 lings, going to try and avoid this Reaper moving across map. Maybe he'll be able to pick off that SCV. Building the command center. There is 1 Marine on the field already here for Cure, but
If there is a big kill early on, it's this SCV because it just slows down everything else with the build, and the 1 Marine can't actually fight this. So a couple more SCVs are pulled.
SCV is actually getting pulled here.
And honestly, probably the best control you could ask for here from Cure.
Yeah,
He's
Solar-
not actually losing anything, so
And Solar knows when he does an opening like this that these 4 lings, they're dead. They're not going to get out of that alive with a Reaper on the map or with those units in Cure's base. So when he's controlling those Zerglings, he's just trying to buy as much idle time there from Cure as possible and delay that command center as long as possible. And that was pretty effective for him. It cost him 100 minerals, cost him 2 larvae, but I mean, you can take that as a win. Alleviate some pressure too. Was able to get this 3rd hatchery down because that Reaper did go home. I'm liking this opening so far here for Solar. Okay, 3rd CC for Cure.
yeah, I mean, I like what Cure's doing as well. I mean, a very different approach. I love talking about how, these builds are kind of connected to each other, right? There's, a really beautiful thing to try to switch from build to build to build to be unpredictable, that, even the small micro adjustments. And remember, StarCraft 2 is the fastest RTS, which means you have to make decisions, particularly in builds, much quicker than StarCraft 1, than Warcraft 3. And so using previous builds and then playing a very different route, you can actually punish somebody, that doesn't have time to think and guess, what's next.
Yeah, or even get the proper scouting information too, because
Yeah.
builds develop so quickly in this game that limited information plays a bigger role in StarCraft 2 than a lot of RTS titles that have existed over the span of this genre. And oh my goodness, Cure, 2 factories.
Oh my God, you're right.
Oh boy. We already have Hellions in production, so that's the 3rd factory coming in. We have 3 CC mech.
Now, hold on. Now this is, I don't want to say gimmicky, but it is definitely a build that, like, we see brought out. We've even seen Maro do this once before. But it's like, no.
Yeah, this
You're
is
going to go for this
fun.
build? It's a super fun build to cast. It's super different. If you lose control of the mid game, by the way, the Zerg just takes the whole map and you die.
Yeah, it's you're playing on a knife's edge pretty much the entire time
Yeah.
as a mech player, especially here in TVZ.
I think you have to have, and by the way, this is not the mech you're thinking of where he's like just going to make tanks and sit there.
That's battle mech.
It's I think it was Gumiho that did this first. I might be wrong.
I think that sounds right.
That
It sounds like
sounds right.
something Gumiho would
Yeah.
do. Even if he didn't do it first, he spiritually did
Yeah,
it first.
yeah.
Man.
He
It
dreamt of it, and he gave someone else Inception, and then they did it in GSL.
Exactly.
But the idea here is that you come out with just a different composition. It's one that has a lot more ability to kite or to like kind of micro away, not like stutter step, but you just pull away fire, pull away fire.
Absolutely.
And if the Zerg isn't ready for it, they're just suddenly dealing with a composition that's very different. Now, seeing the floating barracks kind of gives it away.
Yeah, Solar, if he was paying attention there, which he should have with that scout coming into the third bases, he's been trying for a while now to figure out exactly what Kira's plan is. Should know what's going on, seeing that floating barracks, and certainly does now here with 2 Cyclones on the field. Upgrades about to finish both of these Hellions and Cyclones. As Solar with a lot of Queens, going to be doing his best to push this away, but those Cyclones, they do so much damage, man. I mean, the energy here on the Queens, it is limited.
Yeah, and you can see that, you know, you can kind of move out on the map and not really care. By the way, the floating barracks is there to spot for the Cyclones.
Right, their range is longer. And actually, hold that thought, Tasteless, as we have a run by here. Solar trying to pick up some Cyclones and alleviate some of the pressure they're back at home.
Ooh, very good control there.
Yeah, Blue Flame Hellions are just so good.
Yeah. Now, you know, we're starting to see the Queens drop. Looks like another one's taken out. I only see 4 that were up there.
There's 6 Queens in total, so I think 4 there in the front and then 2 probably injecting as 3 have fallen so far. And Kira's doing a good job of whittling away at this army, but at the same time, he is losing a lot of Hellions, and Hellions are really kind of the anchoring unit here that stops Zerg from coming in with Lings to get that big surround and the Bailey connection.
Oh my god. The Maids are so close. He just sacks one Hellion, throws that in there, says, well, how about you trade it efficiently? Okay, we may be at the tipping point right now.
Yeah, I feel like this is snowballing hard.
Well, not just that, but I think organically, the longer this is here, the sooner that Baneling's nest is going to die.
Centrifugal Hooks is not going to finish, I don't think.
Yeah, I think actually, Kira just did like a masterclass game in taking down a Zerg with this build. A lot of times we see this backfire in the mid game, but I think he's basically got it. I think the nest is still there. So, it doesn't matter, GG. Wow, what an incredible TVZ series this was. Where like the planning, the prep went in. Solar didn't even get to play any game that he wanted today.
Yeah, I mean, you know that Solar has a game plan coming into this series, and Kira's just like, no, we're going to do exactly what I want us to do. Comes in with a 3 Rex there in game number 1, some nice battle mech there in game number 2, and that's going to be a victory there for Kira. Really fast 2-0. I got to say, I was expecting this to be probably one of the most competitive matches that we cast today here in Group B.
Same, yeah.
But Kira just kind of dunked on him with some really good game planning. I mean, that's all strategy right there.
Yeah, and really perfect pushing there. He knew exactly when to come in. He just kept picking off the Queens. I love seeing the barracks come in for a second when the rush started. We were like, oh, well, he sees the barracks. That's kind of a giveaway. But then the barracks lets you spot.
Right.
So that there's just literally no way the Queens can ever get outside of vision. They you know, the Cyclone vision's not that great, especially when you have to run away. But having the barracks there to spot for that, and then just picking off the Banelings. I mean, here's the thing, too. I don't really know what Kira's TVZ looks like if he's not playing like this. I don't know what Solar wanted to do today.
They might be potentially playing in the decider match, depending on who plays against Hero. And guys, we're going to go into the next match after this short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.